Hello, hello. Welcome, everybody, and welcome back to the show. If you're new here, my name is Mitchell. In today's episode, I'll be talking about what makes love last forever. And I do these YouTube lives every Saturday at 12 p.m. Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern time. So if you guys are ever interested, come say hi, watch the live. And if you're watching this on a rerun, hello. And so I will be talking about a recap episode today that I've done in the past, which is woman can't love a man she does not respect. And the slide is on how to gain respect from her. Now, I'd like to start out with a quote by Henry David. Is it Thoreau? I'm butchering the name. All right, so it says that the mass of men lead lives of quiet desperation. So most men lead lives of quiet desperation. You know, they're at a job that they don't like. They're at a place they don't want to be at. They're with somebody that they're settling with, and they're not really happy being with, and they're just kind of settling. They're just kind of cruising through life, not really moving with a purpose in life. And that is a guy leading his life with quiet desperation, if you could even call it that. The king of quotes, quotables. And most of these quotes, by the way, are from my coach, you know, so it's like I've heard it from him first. Okay, Coach Corey Wayne, shout out to you. Now moving on. So respecting a man is not 100%. It's not 100% always a woman's conscious choice in a relationship. It's not the choice. So it's something that has to be earned. And a lot of men, they don't deserve this type of respect because they don't even know how to lead. So now when I say man, I'm talking about masculine energy. Okay, so please, if you guys want to just look at it from that perspective, you could do that too. But whenever I say man, I'm talking about a man with masculine energy. He knows what he wants. He goes after what he wants, and he's unapologetic about it. And so a lot of men don't deserve respect. A lot of people should not be in a relationship. I hate this. Why do you hate it? All right, so now, because here's the fact. Most people, okay? Most of them, a lot of men talk. Okay? Be careful with the talkers. People that talk a lot, that don't do a lot of things, they're just yappers, okay? They're not men. They're just yappers. Anybody could open their mouth and talk. But to actually apply it, to show it through action, that is what matters. Now, ladies, don't make the mistake though, okay? It is necessary for him to make the mistake so that he could adjust, so that he could become the man that he needs to be. And so that means that it's going to require trust from you. Trust that he's going to step up. Trust that he's going to step up. Okay, so you gotta believe in him, because nothing inspires us more than having a supportive woman, a supportive lady in our lives. And here's the thing, men, you have to listen up. In order to gain that, you have to earn it. Okay, you have to earn it. You have to be assertive. You have to know what you want and go after what you want. So you got to be assertive and know what you want. And so I will encourage you to be, if you're in a relationship with your girl, your wife, be a servant type of leader in your home. Servant leader, okay? Hear me out. You're there to demonstrate humility, so you want to be modest. You want to have grace. You want to have grace. So you want to be courteous, you want to be polite, and you have to have mercy, where you have compassion and you have forgiveness of other people, because holding all that in, all that pent up energy, is not going to do you any good. So, and you want to measure success through growth and development, because everybody's going to make a mistake eventually. And so the key thing is like, well, how are you going to measure that? And you want to measure your success through growth and development. And you want to listen. You want to understand that in a relationship, that relationship is not about you. Now, you do want to verify. You want to double check to see if that person is reciprocating. But you have to understand that the relationship is not about you. It's about each other. So you're there to share that. And if you're not there and you're not at a right place to be in a relationship, and you're going into a relationship thinking that it's going to make you happy, it's only going to make it worse, because then you're dependent on it. You're dependent on that person to make you happy. And then, I've said this before, where your happiness becomes this moving target, and the moment you don't land on that, you're gonna be unhappy. Oh, this person did this, so I'm gonna be unhappy. It's like, well, then happiness was never really yours to begin with. So consistently put other people first, including her. So leaders who act like they are the most important person in a room, you can still be a leader and do that. I'm the most important person in a room, everybody should look at me. You get both obedience and you also get rebellion, okay? It doesn't mean that you can't. I'm just saying that it's a choice. And so, like I said, you want to be a servant leader. So, but leaders who put other people first tend to be loved and tend to be more followed. Okay. And as we all know, love is allowing. You want to allow the person to come and go as they please, obviously with boundaries and things like that. And that's how you want to navigate through. And the moment you stop displaying these type of behaviors as a masculine man is the moment when she thinks she could walk all over you. So what does it mean? It means that you want to set and enforce healthy boundaries. Okay, so you don't want to lose that type of respect. Okay, a woman could only love a man that she could respect, and that's just one of those things where respect goes, love follows. So if she respects you, she's going to eventually love you, as long as you do things right. But she loses respect, well, guess where it's gonna go? Love is gonna follow that. So I want you guys to think about that the next time you're in a relationship. Does she respect me? And that's not something that you demand. That's something to be earned. What's up, Tracy? And also, lastly, is you always want to follow through your promises. There's nothing more important than a man's word that's binding to what they say. People that don't follow through with the words, I tend not to trust them very, very often. I take it like a grain of salt and be like, hey, you know what? Can't really trust this person, but it's all good. Let me step away from them, right? I walk away from those type of people, and you can always bottom line someone's actions, right? So now, one indicator of integrity is a constant level of following through when it comes to keeping your promises. And a byproduct of integrity and of having integrity is respect. Now, to the meat of the topic, okay? What makes love last forever? Now, the first slide is going to be on most people either settle or they break up in a relationship. Just so you know, whatever you see on social media, people posting about how happy they are, especially those people that post about how happy they are, where they're going. Yeah, their life ain't that great. Okay, you just got to remember that. Their life ain't that great. It's not. It's a facade most of the time. And I'm not saying, don't attack them. Just let them do what they feel like they need to do to be happy. That's their life. But most of what you see on social media is not real. I've seen the worst relationship. I've seen relationship fall apart literally a day after they posted how happy they were. Okay, so whatever you see on social media, where they trap, it's not real. It's not real. Now, the question is, it's like, why do so many people divorce someone they thought was their favorite person? Why does that happen? And it's not a mystery. It's because that good times, and this is not from me, okay, by the way, it's from Chris Williamson. So look him up. He says that good times are poor predictors of how you handle bad times. Repeat that again. Good time, quotables, okay? Quote me. Or quote Chris. Good times are poor predictors of how you will handle bad times. Just because you're having a good time with somebody, it doesn't mean that they're good at handling bad times. It don't mean that they're good at that, okay? So handling bad time is handling bad time is much more important to the success of your marriage or your relationship. But most of us have not truly internalized this yet. So it's the lows that is important, not the highs that makes or breaks the relationship. So in the long run, how you handle conflict and where you find a resolution, that's what's going to make or break your relationship. Because everybody can have a good time, but it's kind of like, it's good when it's great, but it's horrible when it's slightly bad. It's like, can you imagine being walking on eggshells with somebody like that? It's like, that is not a fun time. It's like, we're having a good time, and then I drop a fork. And hell breaks loose. What the fuck? Why the fuck did you drop a fork? Yeah, it's, there's certain people like out there like that. And I tend to stay away though from those certain type of people. So now you get someone that's constantly holding grudges. The other person can't communicate without being passive aggressive, right? The other is unable to communicate their emotions in an emotionally regulated way. It's like, and that's what's going to be one of the biggest threats to your relationship. It's the people that don't learn how to control their emotions. That is what's going to cause the relationship to break apart. Now, although it is fun and it's great and it is exciting to have a great time with your partner, with the lady in your life. Great times, like I said, is not a good predictor of what is a lasting, loving relationships. Okay? So that is why when forget his name. It will come to me, but most people, they focus more on the chemistry of the relationship rather than the person's character. So they overvalue chemistry, but they undervalue character. You see what I'm saying here? They look at, oh, this is how much fun I'm having with this person. It means that our relationships are great. No, it's not. It's how well do you handle the bad times. And so you got to work on both. You got to work on becoming a great, exciting, fun person that lives life to its fullest with the person you want to be with. Have fun. Learn to have fun. Most people know how to have fun. Most people don't know how to handle bad times. Okay? So the main question should be how to avoid catastrophe as opposed to expediting success. How? How do we avoid this big problem, or this little problem turning into a big one? And part of that is becoming more masculine. Let me rephrase that. It's part of it is to understand if your natural essence is more masculine, it doesn't mean like, oh, I'm feminine today, I need to be more masculine. It's like, no, you should hone what you got and lean towards that direction of what you feel most comfortable to you. So for me as a guy, I feel most comfortable being masculine. And if that's the case, I'm going to always operate mostly from the place of being masculine. It doesn't mean I don't have any feminine energy. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is my masculine energy, I'm going to hone that and I'm going to explore that more. Okay. Now, moving on to the second slide, which is love. Okay. The slide is called love. And I want to talk about, what's up, Eagle? And I want to talk about a quote that is a longer one by Coach Corey Wayne. And I thought this was a really, really, really interesting quote. Okay. It's a long one, but here it is. So it says, in music, it is the spaces in between the notes that creates sounds of music. Otherwise, music would just be a constant noise. So in friendship, love, and relationship, you must give others the time and space to miss you and realize what they mean, what you mean to them. This gives them the space to still be themselves and enjoy their freedom to be and express who they are, but also appreciate the gift and blessing you are to them in their lives. So it's like they get to sit back and have that freedom to think about you, to wonder about you. This is mostly for men too, okay? Now, on the flip side of the coin, it reads, if you act neurotic and become unglued when you are away from them, or you don't hear from them in a time that you expect. So it's always about yourself, right? That you expect. And you will create noise in the music of your relationship and they will simply change the channel on you and find someone else to make better music with. Something to really think about, by Coach Corey Wayne. Okay, so in order to have a loving relationship, there needs to be space away from each other. There's time, there's space, and there needs to be respect. Okay, so there needs to be space. Acting needy and acting neurotic displays a lot of weakness, especially from a guy. If you're a guy and you're like, damn, how I don't need more space, I want her, but you're doing it in a way where she's not even ready to come to you, that is a sign of weakness to her. It's like, damn, you can't even control your emotions. What makes you think I could really depend on you when I extend the time a little bit longer? It's like, it's part of feminine energy anyways, to bond, to connect, to wonder, to think about you. That is what feminine energy is. It's bonding, it's creating, it's relationships. Let her do that. As the guy, what you should be focusing on is really focusing on the things that makes you who you are. What type of role are you playing in your life? Are you the main character? Are you the leader? Are you leading your own life? Because if you're not leading your own life, you can't lead her, and she's not gonna follow you. And so it's gonna be a really, really fast downhill slope, if you know what I'm saying, if you don't have your life in order. So get your life in order. Find something that you love. Do that every single day, even if it means adding 1 or 2 hours into your long 8-hour, 10-hour shift, or whatever it is. You have to do that for yourself. Otherwise, you don't really have a life worth leading. And so that's why when you act needy and you act neurotic, it displays a lot of weakness. It shows that you're unable to lead your own life, where you're lacking purpose and you are in a desperate need of certain discipline. And so you become more of a liability than an asset to your girlfriend or your wife. And anybody who lacks emotional self-control, they become a threat into their relationship. Now, what I mean by that is, imagine a guy that doesn't really know how to lead his own life. He doesn't really know what to do. He just kind of cruising. He's at a job that that he doesn't like. He feels like he's not doing enough to be a man. Imagine that. And then all of a sudden he's like, I'm exhausted. I need to go out. And then now you're stuck at home. You're home now. You're hoping that he's just going out there with his boys, maybe kind of like vent certain things out. And imagine your boyfriend or your husband who lacks emotional self-control. That becomes a liability, because at any moment you're like, damn, what if he sees another girl and then he's just gonna be like, start talking to her, and that's a liability. That's a liability. You don't want that in your life. And so now, when we talk about love are the spaces in between the notes where a couple could play this perfect melody with each other. It's by loving yourself first. It's by creating more space so that you could do the things that you always wanted to do, that you need to do. Like for me, I need X amount of hours for myself to go to the gym, to educate myself, to start learning. Like the moment I stop learning, my brain's I'm like, something's wrong. I need to educate myself with something. I need to stimulate my mind somewhere. And so by allowing time away from your partner, you get time to work on yourself. And then you get to share those interests when you see each other. So that now when you when you come back and you see each other, maybe it's after work, maybe you live with each other or whatever it may be, you have something to talk about. You get to talk about, hey, this is what happened. There's something interesting, right? And you're always following through with your purposes. And so you're allowing time for her to think about you, to wonder about you at her own free will, to miss you, to wonder about you, to think about you. I wonder what he's doing. I wonder what he's thinking. Well, or maybe she knows where you're at and she's like, damn, I just wish time could go a little faster so that she could spend more time with you. That is where her feminine energy will flourish, by wanting you. And when feminine energy is presented to you as a guy, you never want to neglect that. So I never teach guys to ignore a woman. Okay, you never ignore anybody. When she presents that to you, you be like, yeah, I'd love to see you. I'd love to do this, because that's how a relationship will flourish, by sharing each other's time, quality time. Okay, and you can't force these things to happen. Okay, you cannot force it to happen. Now, is this third slide? Third slide. 1, 2. I lost count. Okay, yeah, it is. All right, so the third slide is time. Okay, the reason why so many men struggle giving his woman time is because he gets too emotionally wrapped up in his own mind, wondering what she's doing. Part of that is more feminine energy. Let her do the wondering, not you. Don't worry about her too much. I mean, you could wonder, you could think about, I wonder what she's thinking, but it's not gonna derail you from what you need to do as a guy. Now, as the masculine man, your time should be spent on improving yourself and bettering yourself every single day. So find a hobby, focus on something that is bigger than yourself, and share it to the community. Whatever it is, share your gifts. Share it, okay? Because there's no point keeping everything to yourself, okay? Share your gifts. Share what you have to offer to the world. Now, imagine you were so busy focusing on building your company, building yourself up, whether it's physically, mentally, whatever it is. You're doing more things that improves you rather than something that slowly deteriorates you, such as, going out, partying all the time, drinking. Like, these are things that's doing more harm than good to your body for this temporary relief. So the main thing is you want to have a good enough reason. Most people don't have good reasons for them to do the things that they want to do. You have to have an emotionally compelling reason, a good enough reason to want to make certain lasting changes. Usually it kind of, for most people, this illusion starts sometime this time of the year, where they say, hey, I'm going to sign up for a membership and I'm going to have something, commit to it, even if it means you going slower. For some people, it might look like I want to go to the gym twice a week. For some people, it might be once a week. Whatever it may be, whatever fits to your schedule, you want to start learning and developing a certain habit so that you could show up every single time. It's not about how quickly that you could do things consistently, where, I don't know, I started seeing this thing, which is like hard 75 or something like that, where you do something for 75 days. I don't know. Okay. I mean, I guess that's a good reason to do something, but I'd much rather have you stay consistent for a few years, even if it means going to the gym 2 to 3 times a week, than 75 full-on days, especially if you're a beginner and you don't really know what you're doing, but you're like, I want to stay dedicated. It's like, pace yourself. Don't rush into things. Just like you shouldn't rush into a relationship. Take your time and show up every single day to the best self. Now, do things. I derailed myself. So you have to have good enough reasons. Okay? So that you can become more attractive. That's basically it. You become more attractive, and attraction is not a choice. Mother Nature already took care of that. And if you already show up, okay, if all you do is show up in your best physical, mental, spiritual self, you become a magnet to a person. You become this type of person that naturally pulls other people towards your direction. And it's not even a choice. It's like gravity. Most people act like on this push type of energy, aka motivation. I need to convince that person to show my worth so that they could see how much I'm valuable to, it's like, that's a lot of effort if you really think about it. And the right people would naturally be attracted to your own energy, to the type of person that you are. So then you, like I said, you naturally you become this magnet to this person or other people, and you would attract more people in your life, more than you could think of, and you will have more selections in your life. Okay, who doesn't want more selections sometimes? All the while still having strong morals, and you act in ways with more integrity as a man. And little by little, by working yourself every single day, focusing on yourself, becoming more than you are, sharing the things that you have to other people, you practically become irreplaceable to another person. You become irreplaceable. And I've heard it so many times where there's so many women out there, they're saying there's no more good men out there, there's no more good men. You just have to understand what good means to them. You just have to understand what good means to them. And if you don't know and you want to know more, you guys could book an hour session with me. Now, lastly, you need space. You need space from each other, okay? Woman doesn't just want it, they need it. We all need space to have a happy, healthy relationship. It's necessary. You can't be around each other all the time. And I remember this one time, good friend of mine before, and he's always constantly hovering around his girlfriend or now ex, but girlfriend at the time. And I'm like, I don't think she wants you to be around her all the time. I get it. You went to work and now you took her, this is college days. So he would take her to class and then he will wait. He will wait not in her class, but at an empty room, sleep there. And then when she gets out, he will walk her to her next class. I'm like, this is beyond, like, you're smothering her. This is beyond, like, let her be. Like, the only place that she has to be away from you is, hopefully she could even do this alone, like taking a shit or showering or going to the bathroom. Like, she needs time and space. There is no space. You're smothering her, you're suffocating her. Like, dude, let her be. And guess what? One day he went back home, everything that she owned is gone. And I was like, I had a feeling. I don't want to be like I told you so, but it's also like you're acting neurotic. You're like, that. This is some psychopathic behavior. Change that. So, I think he changed that. I don't know. It's been a while. So, yeah, you need space to have a happy, healthy relationship. So if you feel like you always need to be around her, first of all, you have bigger things to worry about. But now, when a woman says she needs space, it means already she's like, you're smothering her. That's basically what she means in womanese. That's what she's communicating to you. If she says she needs space, you're smothering her. That's it. A woman would not say that to a guy if she doesn't feel like, I need more space. So, now, here's the thing. When she asks for space, you just got to give it to her. A lot of guys, they'd be like, no, I don't want to. I love you. I care about you. And it's still about you. It's about how you cannot control yourself when you're not around her. That is weakness to her. Okay? And then other people, they tend to act like this too. Okay? They're like, well, okay, if you need space, well, how long? 2 weeks, 1 week? Like, how much space do you need? When a woman says she needs space, you have to give her space. Okay? There's no definite time. And obviously, if it's over a week and she's your girlfriend, something's wrong and you have to talk to her. And if it goes beyond that, I mean, you could practically say that your relationship is over, okay? Like, she's already done with you. And if it's a week, you're gone. Focus on doing something else. You're a free agent at this point. But let her know. Just be like, hey, it's been a week. I don't know what's going on, but I'm not just going to sit here and wait around for you if, and you're not communicating with me. Like, communicate with me. Talk to me. This is what a relationship is. So, let her be, okay? Now, deep down, most of the time, deep down, you fear that you're not good enough. And this happened in my previous live too, right before this live. And I was just talking to somebody And it's most of the time, if you can't let certain things go, usually it's because you feel like deep down you're not good enough, that you don't deserve any better, or he or she might like somebody else. In this case, most of the time, she might find somebody else. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Is it Natalie? Yes. So a good woman will only stay with a man she feel like he deserves her. So he needs to feel like he deserves a woman like this in order for her to want to stay around. And if you don't believe that you deserve her, she's gonna feel that type of energy. And when she feels that, she's gonna be like, well, and that's why you hear a lot of guys always say that women only date up. They only date up. It's because these guys that she feels like she could be with, feels like he deserves her. We want love, but we need space to miss you. Yes. It makes the heart grow fonder. And you need time and space. You just gotta do your own thing. Let her wonder about you. It's feminine energy. And so a good woman, like I said, will only stay with a man that she feels like he deserves her. Now, an unhealthy woman, men included as well, but unhealthy people will string along other people until they find someone better and then break up. And so many times I've always heard a lot of people, they say like, oh, I did this one thing and this is why she broke up with me. I was like, no, that's just a reason to break up. That's not her reason. That's not her main. I mean, it added to it. It's kind of like, well, your dish is already salty as hell, and adding more salt to it doesn't make it taste any better. It makes it a little worse, but that's not the main reason why that she doesn't want that dish anymore. It's like the whole time that plate is nothing but salt. It just tastes like pure sodium, pure salt. It doesn't taste good. It's not a good dish. And that's how a relationship builds. Every single time you add negative shit to your relationship, just think about adding so much salt to a point where you can't eat that dish anymore, okay? And it's like, well, that's why she broke up. She broke up with me because I was late to pick her up. Like, no. I'm pretty sure she wouldn't break up with you because you were late this one time. It's an accumulation of all the things that you messed up. That is usually what happens. So that's an unhealthy woman. You wouldn't want a person like that anyways in your life, but it's still important to look at your mistakes. And so for most women understand already when they know the relationship is over. They already know, they are pretty much checked out. They're just like, I need a reason to leave, and right now is a good reason. And so same thing for, my friend before, like where he showed up one day at home and everything is gone. It's like, oh, like, why did she find that perfect time to gather everything? It's because you were smothering her. That's why. And so now, a good man knows how to keep a good woman. How? By being comfortable being in your masculine. That is it. Being comfortable being in your masculine. A man who is in control of himself, that is not constantly being mean to other people, and treats women well. Because treating women well or treating people well is virtuous. It's a strength. It's very masculine to understand how to treat people well while setting boundaries and enforcing them too. So it's the men that gets upset and butthurt about other people and women that has not found a solution yet, that are the ones who are violent and aggressive towards women. And I've seen so many of those type of people. And if you get enough people in the same room and they resonate with the same idea, eventually you get this community and you feel like you're right. But just because you have a community, it does not mean that you're right. And everybody could live their life however they want. It's not my choice to try to change people. But my thing is, it's like, if something is not working for you, why don't you change it up a little bit? Instead of being upset and bitter about women, why don't you try to learn and understand them? That way, you're going to have more on your plate than you ever could even eat. Now, when you are insecure, when you are an insecure man, okay, you're insecure about being who you are, about being masculine. You see these guys, like I said, with these big platforms talking down on women, you belittle them and you calling them names. Like, That's a very weak, insecure guy. It just screams to me you don't understand the concept of understanding women. Or maybe you have enough idea, but then you're too naive, or you're not open enough to learn more about the other side. That is how it's like. Look, there are bad people out there. There are bad men and there are bad women. It is your job to stay away from those, and your job to align with the right people in your life so that you could become a better human being, a better person. But a lot of people, they make this mistake of being around certain people long enough, and they're too afraid to admit it themselves that they stayed in that relationship too long, or they stayed with someone a little bit too long, and that has clouded their judgment, and they're gonna put the blame on them rather than themselves. You're not gonna learn from that. So if you made the mistake of being with a cheater, you've been with a liar, maybe you're around a narcissist, whatever it may be, that is still ultimately your reason, okay? You chose to stay, whatever it is. Maybe you made this mistake. Thank you. I appreciate it. That's my word up topic. It's okay. Thank you. Appreciate it. So anyways, it's at the end of the day, you have to take personal responsibility and accountability for yourself to learn from it. Because look, we all learn from our mistakes, and it is your choice to learn from that too. Now, in the beginning, as you're learning this, you're gonna be like, well, what makes your decision right, Mitchell? Well, I'm not here to try to convince anybody. What I am here to do is, look, like I said, if something that you're doing is not right, and you've been doing it consistently, and you get some results, and it kind of pulls you back down, well, maybe it might be time for you to kind of insert a new perspective into your life. And like I said, I remember the first time when I was listening to my coach. I was listening to my coach, and I was like, what does this guy know what he's talking? Like this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. I was so wrong. Okay, I was wrong, and I was humbled. And you know, my coach has always said, he was like, look, if you're not humble, you will be humbled. Dude, you can dance like a pro. Thank you, James. And so, one thing that I really appreciate about this this last quote is, he said, powerful qualities come from position of great weakness. And I might even want to tweak that word up by not just great weakness, but just being vulnerable. Because being vulnerable is a superpower. I've said that so many times. You have to be vulnerable. You have to be open about it. And if other people cannot accept your vulnerability and they see that as weakness, that's on them. It's not on you. It is still your job to realize that if you have a certain type of vulnerability, how do I make that and become that strength? Because at one point in my life, I had zero ideas about understanding women. I had zero ideas about what makes or breaks a relationship, what to look out for, you know, because if it's easy to get caught up in a chemistry and undervalue someone's character. That's so easy to look past that. Like I said, it is still your job to understand it. And, you know, you can ignore reality, but you cannot ignore the consequences of ignoring reality. So that being said, that is my show today. I will be going over the summary. And the first slide was on most people settle or break up in a relationship. So why do so many people divorce someone they thought was their favorite person? It's not a mystery. It's mostly because, like I said, good times are poor predictors of how you handle bad times. So don't overvalue chemistry and undervalue character, okay? Like you still have to see the reality as it is. You could try to ignore it, but you cannot ignore the consequences of ignoring reality. Number 2, love. So love are the spaces in between the notes where a couple could play a perfect melody. By allowing time and space away from your partner, you get time to work on yourself. And then also when you guys pair back up, you guys could talk about certain things. Time. The reason why so many men struggle giving women time is because he gets too emotionally wrapped up, wondering about what she's doing, wondering, worrying. Like, these are all feminine energy, okay? Like, focus on yourself. And I get it. Look, if you're sleeping with one eye open, you're like, damn, like, she might be cheating on me. She might be talking to another dude. Really, really sit back and pull back and think, why are you feeling that way? Do you not feel like you're worthy of being in that relationship? Do you feel like, because eventually you're going to feel like that, everything you do, you say, your demeanor is going to lead to that. And she's not going to want to be around you anyway. So you got to pick yourself back up. And from what I've seen also, you get about, it doesn't matter how long you guys been together, you get about maybe 6 months to a year to 12 months. 6 months to 12 months for her to be like, hey, yo, you're going to do something about this? Because if you're not, I'm going to go. It doesn't matter. You could be in a 30-year relationship. You could be in a 30-year relationship. It doesn't matter. If you don't pick yourself back up and you're the guy in the relationship, you're this masculine man, you're supposed to be the leader, and you don't handle your shit, eventually she's going to find somebody else. Okay? So I get it. Hard times, it should mold you into becoming a better man, to find a solution. You're a guy, you got to figure it out. I don't care. Okay? So if you're over 18, you're watching this and you're in this household and it's doing you more harm than good, but you're like, well, I need to save money. Well, go find a job. Find 2 jobs. Make some money, leave, go rent somewhere else so that you can have your own peace of mind. Okay? Like, you have to handle yourself. And lastly, space. Okay? Space. Women don't just want it, they need it. Okay? They need space in order for her to think about you, to wonder about you. Just remember the music that you play in between the notes. That is what you create music. And so you got to be comfortable being in your masculine. If you're a guy and your natural essence is more masculine energy, you need to become more masculine. That is who you are. You should tap into that and you should be unapologetic about it. It doesn't mean you be an asshole about it, but be unapologetic about it. It's like, I know what I want, I'm going after what I want, and this is what makes me happy. And I've seen so many guys also, it's like you let the woman or your wife nag you, talk about you. Don't you think you should stop? You should give that up. Like, if my girl ever told me I need to give up Pokemon, I'd be like, get out. You know where the door is. You're not going to tell me what to do. I love Pokemon. I love my Charizards. I will keep it, okay? I'm not going to keep an excessive amount, maybe. But this is what makes me happy. I'm not going to turn that down, okay? Just because you think it's childish. I don't care, okay? Go find somebody else then, okay? You know where the door is, okay? This is what makes me happy. And if she can't support that, then she's probably not the right person for you. So, being your masculine. Understand what you want. Go after what you want. Pokemon and death metal. Yeah. So, man, it's been a while, man. I want to open some packs. Can I show y'all something? I know it's... Let me finish this first, though. Man who is in control of himself, okay? So, you want to be a guy that is not being mean. You want to treat people well. You want to treat women well. You want to treat everybody well, okay? That is what you call a secure masculine guy. Not this masculine, toxic masculinity. Most people are saying, or most people are thinking, they're thinking about this type of guy that belittles people, that like, if I don't get shit my way, I'm gonna make it happen. And then it's by force. It's never by someone else's choice. And these are the type of people that are the most insecure people out there, and they need that type of control so that they can feel like they have any type of control over their own lives. And those are the type of people that I should warn you about. These are the type of people that if they don't get the things that they want, they're gonna take it from you. And so you gotta be careful with those, okay? That being said, that is the show. I have this has been sitting here in so long, okay? I've always wanted to open this, and it's been a very long time since I opened Pokemon cards. And at some point, I don't even want to open it anymore, but I do have that itch. I do have that itch to open Pokemon cards. So look, go after what you want. Be happy. Enjoy your life, because life is about enjoying what you're. It's short enough, okay? It's short enough. Enjoy what you like. Enjoy what the people that you love spending your time with, and you can't take that for granted. You can't take that for granted. But anyways, thank you guys for enjoying the show or for watching this. I hope you guys got a lot of good information from this. And I'll catch you guys on the next live. All right, next Saturday. All right. Thank you. Peace.